is Jets Final Drive. He is Zack Rosenblatt. I am Connor Hughes, coming your way after a Thursday night primetime loss from the Jets to the New England Patriots, 27-14, the final. Game was a bit closer than I think either of us expected. I think the Patriots did still end up covering. That line was all over the place, 10.5, 11.5. I think it went all the way up to 13.5. So depending on where you got that, you're either very, very happy at the 13-point win or you are punching the sky at the 13-point win for New England, missing that spread by half a point. Zack, you and I both operating here on about half energy because we both made our way home from Foxborough at varying points this morning. You actually went to Detroit, right? You're with your wife's family, spending a couple days up there?
Yeah, we got the long weekend, so we're getting some family time. So I'm currently my desk here is a nightstand, and I'm trying to not break my back bending over to talking to the microphone right now. But we got to do what we got to do for the podcast.
Is that a Jets shirt for London? Is that a Jets London
Jets
shirt?
and Broncos shirt? Yeah.
Really? So, wow, you're a souvenir guy on your way home from games?
I'm definitely not usually, but the London game I thought that was cool. So I got one.
That is a cool shirt too. I give you credit.
Thank you.
I'm big. I was actually scrambling today for souvenir. I know I've talked about this on Mailbag. I don't know if I've talked about it here on JFD.
For your daughter?
Yeah, when Brooke was born, right? So again, it's all selfish for me. Like this, when it started, when she was literally right out of the oven, it was entirely selfish. That when I would go on these road trips, I would, in the airport, search for something to bring her home. So if I was in Miami, I would get her a little dolphin that said Miami, Florida on it, or wherever I was, get her a little stuffed animal with the place and bring it home. And again, when she was so little, I'm missing her like crazy. I'm not saying I'm like dad of the year here because they're like, oh, I need to get my kid a gift. But it was like, I'm missing her. This is something where I can putz around the airport for like 15, 20 minutes, look for something for Brooke, and then bring it home, and it kind of keeps her on my mind when I'm missing her. Well, she's now 2.5 years old, Zack, and we've gotten to the point where not only does she expect me to come home with a gift, but now she's making requests. And some of these requests are starting to get very, very complicated for me to pull out. Because when we were in Denver, she wanted me to come home with a lollipop. That was the big thing. She wanted a lollipop. So I was like, all right.
Denver's lollipops are pretty famous. They're pretty famous, Denver lollipops, so I get it.
Is that actually a thing? Or
no, I'm kidding.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
Could have been, dude. I'm again operating on E here. Was able to pull that off though, because like the Hudson News that are in every single airport. Like I found a lollipop, brought it home. When I was coming home from Chicago, she requested a big Grinch toy because that is now all the rage in our house. Like she found the Grinch randomly on Netflix and has been obsessed with the Grinch ever since, the cartoon one that recently came out. So she wanted a Grinch toy. Had to stop at a Walmart to find a Grinch toy to bring home from her last week. This week I leave and she asks for a Max book. Max being the Grinch's dog, a book on that. So I'm scrambling. I'm like, I have no idea what to do. My wife, God bless her soul, found a Max book on Amazon, ordered it to the house, stashed it like underneath our porch furniture. So right before I walked in the door, I was able to throw it in my bag and then give it to her. But this is, wow. I said, we gotta reel this in. Yeah, I'm going to be in Baltimore this weekend, and I've already now been asked for a big Max toy. And I'm like, honey, I don't know where I'm getting this stuff. Can we go back to just like the random stuffed animal I find? Anyway, transitioning from kids' toys here, Zack, to the actual game. First segment of the show is the first segment of every show, and it is brought to you by Monmouth University, the greatest university in all of the land. What have we learned from the Jets' loss to the New England Patriots? Zack, I'm going to break the mold here a little bit, and I'm actually going to be the one that goes first. Watching that game to New England, here's my stance. Whatever the Jets need to do this offseason to go and get their quarterback, the player that they believe has franchise potential, seriously, organizational altering potential, whatever you can do to get that player in your building, go and do it. If you draft him organically, that is absolutely the best case scenario. But if you have to trade assets, the assets you got for trading Quinnen Williams, the assets you got for trading Sauce Gardner, you go and you do that. Because you and I, we were sitting in that press box in Gillette Stadium. We saw what a difference the guy makes. Drake Maye has taken the Patriots from a team that you felt after finally Tom Brady bolted for the sunny skies in Tampa were going to be just like every other team in the NFL. No, because the Patriots got Drake Maye. They developed him as a rookie. They surrounded him with additional pieces on the roster and a tremendous coaching staff led by Mike Vrabel. Now they are 9-2. Maye is the front runner, I'd say, after that Thursday night game to be the MVP of the league. Looks like an absolutely dynamic presence, and the entire outlook of the Patriots for the next 10 plus years has changed because they have their quarterback. So for the Jets, go get your Drake Maye. I don't care what it costs, 2 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks. If you believe he's the guy, you go and you get him.
Mine is similar, and I'm just gonna pull from what my lead was in the story because, as you know, I did this story on Mike Vrabel last year, and one of the anecdotes from that story is what I put as my lead because it was funny to me. We were at a restaurant in New York City. There's a guy a couple tables over. He spots Mike Vrabel. The guy's wearing a Jets hat. He comes over. He asks him for a photo. He says, "Where are you going to coach next year? Are you going to coach the Jets?" And Mike says, "I don't know. We'll see you in January." And all I could think of was that guy yesterday, as you know, he had no idea he was taking a photo with the coach that is going to torture the Jets now for the next 10 years, and the quarterback that is going to torch the Jets for the next. Like they got the coach and the quarterback. I know there's some people who push back and they're like they have an easy schedule. How many times have the Jets had an easy schedule and it didn't mean anything? Like that's you beat who you play. You beat who you play. They beat the Buccaneers. Yeah, like I get it, but you beat who you play, and they've done it. Like they're really well coached. They have a great quarterback, and so you know it's going to be so hard for Aaron Glenn to overcome being compared to that regime because they started at the same time. The Patriots had less wins the year before. At the end of the day, it's what you said. You need a quarterback, but that's all I could think of yesterday is. Like you said, the Jets, they thought they were done with Brady. Belichick, even when he was coaching at the end there, was pretty brutal. You thought, you're like, okay, we're going to be on even track with them now, and we're going to see who gets there first. Well, the Patriots got there first. So,
yeah, now not only do you have to worry about Josh Allen and the Bills, but you have to worry about Drake Maye and the Patriots. And I was one of those people that said they didn't play anybody. You and I talked about this in the MetLife press box where you were talking about Vrabel, and I'm like, oh, this is just because you like Vrabel, because he's your buddy. This is the only reason you're saying this. Once they beat the Bills the way that they did when they pulled out that game last week against the Buccaneers, now the Patriots are for real. They are absolutely contenders within this conference, and it's crazy considering they were a 4-13 team a year ago. All right, like we said, Jets lose to Patriots 27-14. We appreciate you guys everywhere that you are watching us. If that is Facebook, shout out Facebook. If that is X, we obviously love you guys there. SNY.TV, truly give us those page views. That makes everybody happy over at SNY. But the place to watch this show is where, Zach?
YouTube.
And it is the place to watch because there's the live comment section where you can interact with us throughout this show. Say things you like that Zach says. Say things you don't like that Zach says. Make fun of me. Praise me. Whatever you want to do. Sam Candle, our producer for this episode, is monitoring that comment section and will send to me via my cell phone down here anything interesting you guys are saying. So you can interact with Zach and I throughout the duration of the show. Shout out you guys over there on YouTube. Also, while you are there on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to SNY's channel because you get the Put Back the Knicks season is in full swing there with Ian Begley. Also, clips from Jets pregame and postgame shows we post up there as well. So SNY's YouTube is absolutely the place to be. Zach, let's talk quarterback. You want to talk quarterback?
We haven't done that yet this season. Why not start now?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Justin Fields finished 15 of 26 for 116 yards and a touchdown, ran 11 times for 67 yards and a touchdown. The ultimate box score does not match film quarterback, but I will say this about Fields, Zach, and I haven't agreed with Aaron Glenn a lot this season. I don't think that Justin Fields was the Jets' biggest issue. I don't think that he was particularly good against the Patriots. I don't think that he is in any way, shape, or form a franchise quarterback. I do believe that when he is on the field, he is a liability, but this was not one of Fields' worst games. Now, I might just be neutered to what competent quarterbacking looks like because I was actually listening to, Pardon My Take this morning on the drive home, and Hank Lockwood was talking about how this was probably a B- game from quarterback Drake Maye. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, what the hell is he talking about? Maye was unbelievable. And then I realized, oh, that's because I've just spent the entire season watching Justin Fields, where this was the 5th time in 9 games he has had under 116 passing yards. It's the 4th time he's had under 55 passing yards, and it's the 3rd time he's had under 50 passing yards in games that this guy has started, which is remarkable. So he truly is changing what quarterbacking is. In fact, it got to the point where Zack, he crossed 100 passing yards. We were like, wow, he's over 100 yards. Good game for Justin Fields. No, but I will say that he was held back by some drops, man. And like Glenn said, you got to help the quarterback out, and A.D. Mitchell specifically was not doing that.
So, I don't know if pushback's the right word because you just said he's not the biggest issue. And he's not the biggest issue. The defense is, frankly, the biggest issue at this point.
Yeah.
But he's the most fixable issue because you can remove him from the lineup and you can put Tyrod Taylor in. A lot of the other stuff that they have like the defense it's not really fixable at this point. Like it's a fundamental problem. It's a scheme problem. It's a lack of talent, and that group just looks like it's bad. And we're gonna get into that later. But Fields, yeah, he had some drops. Like Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell had a couple really bad ones. There was the deep ball. I will say Fields did underthrow him more than I realized, but it was placed in a spot that he should have caught it. And there was another drop that he had that was pretty brutal. And Jeremy Ruckert had a drop in the fourth quarter. But Fields had more misses than he had hits still. Like he still had some really bad throws. He missed Mitchell wide open. He missed there's a few times where he does this every play. Like he just zones in on the guy he's going to throw to, and he just not able to like get away from it. He was even the John Mechie play. Like John Mechie's wide open. He still hesitates. He pumps it, and then he's like waiting, and then he finally throws it. And Mechie was open the whole time. Like what was he waiting for? So I still just don't think he has the confidence to play quarterback in the NFL anymore. And if you're not going to let him run the ball, which it seems like they did in the beginning and they got away from it, like I don't really know what purpose he serves. And my whole point with him is like it's hurting your ability to evaluate the rest of the offense ultimately. And I don't think Tyrod's like a whole lot better ultimately, but I just think he's going to throw passes. And so, a lot to talk about the quarterback thing, but I don't think he's the biggest issue from that game, but he's the biggest issue on offense.
The fascinating thing you mentioned there is him as a runner. And I get when we talked to Aaron Glenn after they signed Fields, and he stressed he's our quarterback. We're going to let him play quarterback. We're going to let him play quarterback. Yes, he can run. We're going to ask him to run, but he's going to be our quarterback. I get that. But the whole reason you have Fields as your starter is you deal with some of those limitations as a passer, and there are many. His read progressions are not very promising. It's literally one read and run or one read and check down. His ability to process what he is seeing both pre-snap and post-snap is among the worst of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. In fact, I don't know if there's one worse than him at the moment. But you deal with those because he is such an elite runner. And you saw that on the Jets' opening drive where they went, 14 plays all the way down the field, scored a touchdown. Fields ran 5 times, Zach, on that opening possession for the Jets. He had 11 total carries in the game. And in fact, 4 other rushes came in the fourth quarter, basically with the game decided. So 9 of 11 rushes came in the first quarter and the fourth quarter, when it was very clear that the Patriots had absolutely no game plan to stop Fields as a runner. He was picking up 5-6 yards every time he took off with it. And Glenn spoke to us after the game, and he said that you have to be quote unquote calculated in when you allow Fields to run because they don't want him to get hurt. And I can speak to this somewhat, that maybe that reluctance to just have Fields run the ball stems from him getting really banged up earlier in the year. In fact, after the Jets played the Cowboys, I spoke to a source close to Fields who said he was actually talking to who was the Bears' former head coach? The guy who's now the Cowboys defensive coordinator. Eberflus, thank you. Yeah, the names was escaping me. He actually spoke to Eberflus after that game against the Cowboys and told him he was sore beyond recognition. Like he was basically beat to hell. And that was the result of Fields running a ton early in the season, running a ton going to that Cowboys game, running a ton against the Cowboys. He took a beating. So I do wonder, and I don't have this is just me speculating here a bit, which I know can sometimes be dangerous, but I do wonder if Fields went to Glenn or Fields went to Engstrand and was like, guys, I can't keep doing this. I can run, but can we use it as a weapon, not our offense? The problem with that is an offense where Fields doesn't run the ball consistently or more than he throws becomes an offense like you saw against the Patriots, where when he runs, right down the field, touchdown. When he doesn't, 4 consecutive punts and 3 consecutive 3-and-outs. It's just not sustainable in my opinion. And that's why you kind of start to think, and we'll talk about this now, Zach, should Fields be the starter on this team moving forward?
I mean, no. Everything you're saying, so if Justin Fields, if you're not going to be able to run the ball with him more than 11 times, if you're not going to be able to run with him, he had 6 of those in the first drive. If you're not going to run with him for multiple drives in a row, then what purpose does he serve as your quarterback? Like, he can't throw the ball. I just don't get why you keep him out there anymore. And so, Aaron Glenn, to his credit, I think he was a little too positive on Fields in the immediate aftermath of the game. He kind of pulled back on it a little bit today. Yeah, he pulled back a little bit, and he said he missed some throws and things like that. I get the protect him thing, but you brought him in to be your running quarterback. You can't protect him to the point where you're not running it anymore. And I think there's something to be said. Like Joe Tippmann, he was at, I forget the direct line of questioning, but essentially like why they weren't able to get going after the beginning of the game. And, it was brought up about like, are they stacking the box a lot? And he's like, yeah, they are, but everybody does that. Like, so we still have to be able to run the ball. Like the mindset is like, yeah, they're still stacking it because they know we're going to run, but we still have to run the ball because they know they can't pass the ball. Like the team knows that they can't pass the ball at this point. And so like, look, I don't think the results of these games matters broadly anymore. Like the final score, whatever. It's more about like the process and what we see in these games and the kind of reps that these guys are getting and the evaluation you're giving to guys who might be here next year. And I think Justin Fields serves counterintuitive to that. So I don't see the point of keeping him. I don't know how you go about it. Like, do you bench him, put in Tyrod, and make him third string and just like completely pull the plug? Or do you keep open the idea that he could be back next year as a backup, and so you kind of can't really just completely give up on him? So I don't know. It's a complicated thing that Aaron Glenn's going to have to navigate. But I don't see any scenario where he should be starting another game for this team. I'm personally tired of watching him throw the football. He's, as everybody says, he's a really, really good person and a nice guy. But I would say if you're an NFL quarterback and that's the first thing anybody feels like they have to say about you, it probably means you're not very good.
Yeah, and this would be my plan with Fields because originally coming off of this game, I thought, well, he wasn't the biggest issue on offense. If A.D. Mitchell makes that catch at the left sideline, if he makes the grab on the back shoulder, if he makes the one over the middle before the play to Mechie, like statistically he looks a lot better, specifically on the long one up the left sideline earlier in the game. You wonder if that might switch the momentum a little bit to at least keep the Jets in this game longer. But after listening to Aaron Glenn, and we can run this soundbite now, I feel like the change is coming, and we can run this clip now.
You know what? I'm evaluating everything, Rich, to be honest with you. I'm evaluating myself, the players, schematics, coaches. I'm evaluating everything. So I don't want to just place everything on that one situation. I'm just looking at everything because as a head coach, that's my job, right, to make sure that I put this team in the best position to go win games.
Now, here's my thing, Zach, and you and I have done this long enough. We were around when the Jets made the decision to move on from Zach Wilson a couple of times. If you're not making a quarterback change, you essentially come out and Aaron Glenn says, I'm not going to talk about the quarterback like he'd been doing the last couple of weeks. Or you just say, we're not making a quarterback change. Like that's just what you do. The moment you open the door like this, and you see it also with the Giants when they moved on from Russell Wilson and turned things over to Jackson Dart, this usually means a change is coming. My plan, what I would personally do, you take Justin Fields and you make him the third string quarterback, the third string emergency quarterback. You go Tyrod Taylor as a starter. You then have Brady Cook be the backup and start getting a significant amount of reps in practice. You roll with Tyrod Taylor for the next few games. The final 3, maybe 4 games of the season, you turn things over to Brady Cook because it is very, very clear, in my opinion, that the Jets are going to add a quarterback this offseason. They're either going to try to trade for one, which I don't think has happened, or they're going to try to draft one and make that guy their Drake Maye like we were talking about early in the show. Before you organically drafting one, because the Jets are picking first overall, that's irrelevant. But if you're going to trade up and give up significant assets to go get your guy, you want to have evaluations pretty much complete internally. So put Cook out there, watch Cook play. I don't think he's not a franchise quarterback. He's not going to be this team's long-term answer, but you might as well just see him in action before you decide, okay, whatever. And then maybe you can decide, oh, this kid has a little something to be our backup. You can get him some playing time to evaluate him further in an NFL game. That's what I would do. Give Taylor some time, make Justin Fields the third string, and then let Cook get some playing time at the end of the year. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think what I was about to say that as you were talking about Cook, I'm like, his ceiling is not to be your starter. It's to see, okay, can we have a quality backup here for very cheap?
Yeah.
So you see what you have there. I mean, odds are he's not going to be very good. He's going to be another line in the list of like Jets starting quarterbacks that people forget about 5 years from now, and then it's a trivia question for Brian Costello to try and answer. But I think if you could put Tyrod out there, I mean, the way Tyrod plays, it already happened this season. He'll get hurt at some point, unfortunately. Like, it's a sad reality. So I don't know if you can do the Zach Wilson dance where you keep going back to Justin Fields after benching him. Like at a certain point, it's like the Michael Scott scene when he keeps getting a vasectomy and then he keeps going snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. Like you can't keep doing that to Justin Fields. I mean, it just if they were to bench him again and then bring him back in, it would just make me think so much of that Jaguars game from 2022, right, where Chris Streveler came in and Zach Wilson got booed off the field.
God, we were all like, oh yeah, he's done. Zach's toast, and then he ended up playing again.
Yeah, and not only did Chris Streveler come in onto the field, and I can say his name a lot, obviously, because I'm a big fan, but like that was a game with like playoff implications technically. So that's the crazy part about that one. But yeah, I just don't see a benefit of playing Fields anymore. I do wonder, like, you don't want to fall into the trap with this next quarterback of just handing him the starting job. We've seen that be an issue here over and over again. But I don't know if Justin Fields is the one that you want competing with that guy.
I was about to say that. So
yeah, that's the complicated thing. So it's like, do we just completely cut ties in this offseason? I think that's possible. You maybe, post June 1 and you spread the hit out, and you go and get another veteran that you can both be competition and or be a bridge guy, whether that's like a Jimmy G or whatever. Like there's not many amazing guys that are gonna be available, but like I don't know if Justin Fields is a good bridge, and I don't know if he's good training camp competition. If they were to go and trade for a significant veteran of some sort, I don't know who that would be. Like then Fields makes sense as a good backup, I think, but I don't really know why you would bring him back next year either, frankly.
So I was talking about this. Actually goes right into we got it. We appreciate everyone who's watching the show on YouTube and interacting throughout the comment section. Matthew Malloy, we got your one in here, which said basically, do the Jets secretly regret signing Fields? Turned out there were better free agent options like Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett. You can probably throw Jameis Winston, and even I think I'm not going to say Russell Wilson. He's terrible. Here's my thing on Fields, and you hit the nail on the head right there, Zach. I love Justin Fields as a backup quarterback behind a proven player, because if you have to play Fields a ton or for a long period of time, you're going to see what the Jets are seeing now. He can't do it. The moment you fall behind by 2 possessions, you're screwed. But say you have a traditional-ish pocket quarterback, and then that guy gets knocked out of the game for a quarter or has to go off to the field to get checked, and you suddenly throw Fields in with his rushing ability. A defense has been game planning for a pocket quarterback or more of a traditional throwing quarterback, and now you got to deal with this curveball. It's the perfect situation to be in because it can truly cause matchup nightmares. I hate Justin Fields as the backup quarterback to a rookie quarterback. I do, because I don't see what he brings to the room at all. He's not going to be a mentor. We see his limitations in processing, his limitations in ability. Like, he's not somebody you want your young throwing quarterback to learn from how to throw. I mean, he's a good example of what not to do, but he's not an example of what to do. The issue is that the Jets, when they pieced this contract together for Fields, they wanted him under contract for 2 years. That's what they wanted. And the reasoning why is because they saw what Baker Mayfield did. They saw what Geno Smith did. They saw what Sam Darnold did. And their thought was like, oh, if we can uncork more out of Fields, we now have team control for 2 years as we work towards a long-term contract extension. And they don't have to be like the Vikings being stuck with JJ while Sam is playing at a near MVP level with the Seattle Seahawks. That result, though, that contract, Zach, they're looking at OTC here. It's $22 million in dead money in 2026 for Justin Fields if the Jets were to cut him with a $1 million cap savings. Now, you can do a post-June 1 and spread that out over 2 years, but now you're dealing with a significant cap ramification for 2026 of Aaron Rodgers plus Justin Fields. Then you're going to have to throw on the but the veteran contract you pay Jimmy G, which isn't going to be super cheap. Like, he's still going to want $7 or $8 million to be a potential bridge quarterback backup. Like, even competent backup quarterbacks, you got to pay them. So now you're paying 4 quarterbacks. It's not an ideal situation. So what Malloy said here, I completely agree with. It's that, yeah, if they could do it all over again, I don't think they're signing Justin Fields. I think they realized what the rest of the NFL did, which is that this is a guy that he can't be your option long term. He can't be. He's a great backup quarterback in the right situation. He's also a terrible backup quarterback bridge option in other situations.
I got a funny message from our Bears writer at The Athletic, Kevin Fishbane, yesterday during the game, where he's like, I don't think Justin Fields has it. Like, he's a guy that's been covering him in Chicago. He said that jokingly. He's like, I kind of figured that out by 2022. So it's kind of like, more people find out as Justin Fields progresses through the NFL. I do think he, like you said, I think he could be a really good backup somewhere. I don't know if it'll be here. I'm fascinated at the idea of him going somewhere with a running quarterback, also like a Lamar Jackson, like back him up, back up Jalen Hurts, like one of these athletic guys, learn from them, and be in an offense that is probably better suited to like highlighting what he can do, I guess, than this one is. But yeah, I just don't see why you'd keep him if you're bringing in a rookie quarterback. That's not the smart move to me. So.
What about the team we just saw the Jets play? Like, I think that the Patriots are like a perfect
Patriots
example
too, yeah.
of a team that would be great for him because
Yeah.
Drake Maye can move. He's an athlete, but he's not a running quarterback. So imagine Drake Maye gets knocked out of the game in the third quarter, and all of a sudden Justin Fields runs in, and you've been preparing for Drake Maye, and all of a sudden you got to deal with the running options. I think that's like the perfect situation for Fields. He's just not a starter. So we appreciate that question from Malloy. Again, anyone who's watching the show on YouTube, or if you're not watching on YouTube, head on over there because you can ask us questions throughout, and Zach and I will take them as they come in. Moving on a little bit more with the offense, Zach, and with Garrett Wilson now on the injured reserve and out for the next 4 weeks, potentially this season. I know he technically can be activated, but are you really bringing him in for the final 3 weeks when the Jets are out of it? I just don't see how that benefits anybody. It's probably best just keep Garrett on the shelf, let him rehab, get fully right, and be ready for next season with the rookie quarterback catching passes. Saw a lot of John Mechie, saw a lot of A.D. Mitchell. The good for A.D. Mitchell, he got open. Like, that happened a lot. I mean, you saw
Really
the speed,
yeah.
you saw the release, the speed, the athleticism. Was doing it a couple times, too, against Christian Gonzalez, who's a very good corner in the NFL. The problem was the 3 drops. And I looked it up because, admittedly, I don't know. I didn't watch that many Colts football last year to know, what did A.D. Mitchell do? He was targeted 51 times last season, dropped 4 passes. That's a 14.8% drop rate. It would have been the 12th highest in the NFL of players who played at least 20% of their team's snaps. Mitchell didn't play enough to qualify for that number, but again, if you put that 14.8% there. Positive, again, big, physical, fast, stretched the defense, got open. Are you really concerned about the hands based off of those drops last year as well, or was this just a guy who's kind of been thrown into the lineup trying to make plays and maybe thinking more than just playing?
Yeah, I'd say I lean more towards encouraged than discouraged, just because I thought his athleticism was pretty clear out there. Like, I mean, +2, by the way. Like, that's a number 1 corner, and he was getting open against him, and so that's notable to me. Again, we still don't know a lot about this coaching staff and their ability to develop these guys because they have a quarterback who can't get them the ball, which has really complicated things. But if this staff can work with him on his focus and his hands, like, I think you have something there. But yeah, there's a reason why the Colts weren't playing him. There's a reason why they were willing to get rid of him like they did. At the end of the day, like, he's a flawed player, and that's going to be something he has to overcome. I was quite encouraged by John Mechie. He looked pretty good yesterday. Mitchell, it's like tantalizing potential, and he's the kind of guy that if it doesn't work out with the Jets, he'll get a shot somewhere else because there's just tantalizing tools there, and I could see why they wanted him also.
I would be so. Well, I mean, Kenny is such an unbelievable kick returner, but that's another situation where I'd like to just see him with the ball in his hands. Like, just get the ball in his hands because I feel like some good things can happen when he's there. Certainly a player worth developing, and Aaron Glenn said that after the game. This wasn't like a guy that was dropped in all these drops and they're benching him and saying, we screwed up, whatever. He was just an add-on with the Sauce Gardner trade. No, I mean, it seems like somebody the Jets going to want to stick with because, again, you see the ability there. Guys getting open is noteworthy, and at times he was really open. The rub route where he got open and Fields should have been a really gorgeous completion. Yeah. Fields kind of threw back shoulder and he couldn't bring it in. That was a great play design. But the other ones, he got himself open, specifically the go ball on the left. I mean, that was just a really good route, a little double move on Gonzalez. Tough to drop that one. Again, the hand got in the face, whatever, but it's still good. And you mentioned Mechie, 3 catches, 45 yards, the touchdown when the guy, I forget the guy's name, the corner, 31, fell down for the Patriots. So that was a rough one there. A guy who had a quiet night, Breece Hall, 14 rushes, 58 yards, 2 catches for 6. Zach, I'm not going to be there on Thursday. If you are, I want this question asked. I don't understand why they don't split Hall out wide. I don't know why we're not doing it.
We've asked Tanner Engstrand. I've asked Tanner Engstrand that specific question, why he doesn't get used more in the passing game.
And what'd he say?
But the answer is always, Glenn kind of alludes to it, Engstrand even more. They're like, well, we've had to use him as a blocker a lot. I'm like, what are we talking about, man? Like, if Fields,
but that's
Fields
not that's my thing. That's not the question. That's the passing game. So he's thinking about routes out of the backfield.
I know, but I'm saying they're not fleshing him out on those because they're using so many reps to have him blocking. And so then they have the other passing plays they're designing. Like I tweeted this earlier, like the last 5 games, we're in Nate Hackett territory now with this usage. Week 6, 0 targets. Week 7, 3 targets. Week 8, 3 targets. Week 10, 1 target. Week 11, 2 targets. Like 3 or under for the last 5 games in a row for a bad passing offense and a team that needs where Breece Hall is the offense now. Like there's no excuse for him to just not be more involved. Like have plays designed for him. Like I don't get it. Like whether you're doing it out wide, whether you're doing screens, whether you're dumping it off, I just don't get how he's not getting the ball more in the passing game. And he's very clearly their best offensive player. That's not controversially.
Yeah.
Lean on him. Give him the ball a million times. Like he wants it. Like I just don't.
Too.
Maybe
doesn't make
like
sense to me. We saw it in camp.
We don't know the play calls. We don't know if Justin Fields just isn't seeing him. If he's not giving it to him, he's supposed to. I don't know. But I just don't get it. Like either they're not calling enough plays for him, Justin Fields isn't running the right plays or throwing the right balls, or a combo of the two, and it's inexcusable. Like I refer to the Nate Hackett thing all the time because he said after that 23 season, he was like, I didn't realize that Breece Hall was a good pass catcher until like halfway through the season. Like he admitted that out loud, and that's like we're past the halfway point of the season. Like and they've talked since the offseason about how we're going to get him involved in the passing game. Aaron Glenn, again, to his credit today at his press conference, was like, yeah, we need to be better. But he used the line about using him as a blocker a lot, but he used the line about, yeah, we need to get him the ball more in the passing game. It needs to be a more concerted effort. If you believe he can get fleshed out wide, then do it. Like you don't have the wide receivers that are like scaring anybody right now. So get Breece the ball. Like, it's maddening.
And we saw it though. That's the thing is it's not like we're asking or demanding the Jets do something that they've never done before. And it's like, why don't you do this? Because then again, if we had never seen Breece split out wide, it's like, well, maybe he just can't go out wide. Maybe that's not something that's in his repertoire. But we saw it in camp. There were plenty of times when Braylon Allen was the single eye, like Braylon Allen was in the backfield or in the shotgun formation, and they had Breece Hall as like the slot receiver in training camp, and it worked. He runs good routes, he has good hands, he's too physical for safeties, and he's too fast for linebackers. So he's a matchup nightmare out there. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure they have their reasoning. Like Tanner doesn't strike me as an offensive coordinator, and we've had certainly plenty of them that we've covered, where there's this ignorance of like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like you said with Hackett, there were plenty of times where it's like the reason why the Jets aren't doing it, I genuinely think Hackett just doesn't think about that stuff. I don't. I don't think Tanner strikes me as an intelligent person, and that was one of the things that was told me.
His opening script was awesome, by the way. His opening script was
100%.
phenomenal.
Yeah, because they ran with Fields. Because they ran.
Yeah, but I'm saying still, like the Patriots knew they were going to run the ball, and they still were able to do it. Like that, there's something to be said about that. So.
Yeah, we'll see what I'm not overly optimistic that anything's going to change at week 12 in the season right now, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it's every week. It's like, why aren't they using him more? But I feel like we've been having this conversation now for the last 3 years. It's crazy, and this is now 2 staffs that just don't do it for whatever reason. Appreciate you guys everywhere where you're watching. We say this all the time, whether that is SNY.TV, X. Love you guys there. Make sure you follow SNY across those channels, but also YouTube. Benefit of YouTube is you get to interact with us throughout the show, so we'll continue to take your comments, questions, and concerns throughout the duration of this one. Zach, let's talk a little defense. I thought you made a really good point when you said there's 2 big issues on the Jets. We can go into the specifics of games where, this guy stunk this game or they didn't do this, that game. But the totality of the team, the 2 biggest issues are the defense, which we've seen be a major problem absent basically 1 game, and the quarterback. You can bench the quarterback and go to Tyrod Taylor. I'm with you in this one, man. I don't know what you do to fix the defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing Tyler Barron and Michael Clemens. Clemens, to his credit, it had been a while since we'd really had to talk about him, which with Michael Clemens, that means good things. And then he was like rough in this game. Like the play where he had Travion Henderson in the backfield and he ran right past him. And then Henderson, who went into a crowd of people and still scored, which was impressive. But like he should have been tackled for a loss, and Clemens just completely ran by him. I don't know how he contorted his body that way. And, he has to play because they have nobody at defensive end. Like Brady McGregor was hurt. They were missing Brady McGregor, so they had to play Tyler Barron. It's bad. Like there's pieces on this defense that you could see becoming something, or they already are something. But like, we don't know if Quincy Williams is going to be back. I can't imagine he's thrilled that they both traded his brother and that he was benched, even if he's playing better since then. Sherwood has not lived up to his contract, so he has a lot to prove the rest of this year and next year. The secondary, Brandon Stevens actually had some good plays in this game. He also had some bad ones, but I think he's turned into a solid player. But the whole rest of this defense is all kind of question marks. Like, you can say, oh, I believe in Malachi Moore, I believe in Azareye'h Thomas, I believe in Kiko Maui-Go or Jawan Briggs, but they're all unknowns.
Dangerous game
and
to
so,
play.
Yeah, so you're bank. So there's like, who could you look if you were an opposing coach or GM or someone evaluating this roster? Like, who can you point to at that defense and be like, that guy's a no doubt starter that I want on my team? Like, who is left?
That's the game to play.
Yeah, and maybe Quincy, maybe. Yeah, Will McDonald, Jermaine. I'm leaving them out. Those are two that any GM would want. Outside of that, it's not really anybody. Maybe Quincy Williams, and he was benched for Michael Walker or whatever last week. So
the
talent has gone very downhill. It's gone very downhill. Yeah.
I think that's a perfect way to describe it. It's the game that I always play because fans naturally, you love this team, and when you love a team, you overrate the players that are there. You do. It's just natural. You want to believe you have the next Puka Nacua. You want to believe you have the next Brock Purdy. You want to believe you have the next gem that turns out to be a complete stud. But in all likelihood, that's not going to happen with guys that are drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. Those are the dudes, or 4th, 5th, 6th round. Those are the guys that you want to be the depth pieces, where when your starter goes down, you can fill in for a couple of weeks and you'll be fine. And if you happen to find one over the course of 3 or 4 years that turns out to be a stud, that's a legitimate accomplishment. I compare it all the time to Bryce Hall. When Jet fans had convinced themselves he was going to be a lockdown corner for the next 10 years for this team because he used to have PBUs and he was in position for plays. And the Jets couldn't wait to replace him literally as soon as they took over. When they signed DJ Reed and they drafted Sauce Gardner, and they basically completely forgot that Hall existed. Although he did have a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, against the Broncos to seal that game against Russell Wilson and them a couple years ago. I look at that and I play the game of, would they start on a contending team? I think Phillips on the inside could be like a contributor to a contender. Yeah. Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, absolutely. Brandon Stevens, maybe. I could see Brandon Stevens starting for a contender, but other than that, I don't really see it. Because Quincy, I agree. I think he's going to be gone. Jamie Sherwood has not impressed. He's had impressive moments this year, but he's been absolutely a regression from the player that the Jets decided to pay and make the captain of their defense. So this is a team that Jarvis Brownlee, I thought, took a step back. He did not have a very good game in primetime against the Patriots. That was a rough one for him. But it is a team where they need more pieces than I expected. And that's the flip side and the downside of trading Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams is those were two players that start another team. So if you have Quinnen in the middle of your defense, you have Sauce split wide, you can focus on the safeties, you can focus on the linebackers, you can focus on other pass rushers, you can focus on some of these other positions because we don't need a 3-tech. We don't need a number 1 corner. We can go focus on other things. Now, you need to find that number 1 corner. You need to find that 3-tech. You need to find the safeties. So there's so many issues with this defense right now, Zach, that to be completely honest with you, I don't see it getting fixed in one off season, and why I don't necessarily see the Jets competing in 26 and probably about 27. You're probably looking at 2028, which is crazy because when this general manager and head coaching vacancies opened and they were there, the reason the Jets were considered desirable was because of the roster that Joe Douglas put together, that it was viewed as a team that, you need the quarterback, but you don't need much else. And it turns out the Jets need the quarterback and also everything else.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating offseason because, on one hand, I think you need to emphasize the offense as much as you can to make it a place where a quarterback can step in and succeed, where others haven't in New York. But at the same time, the defense has so many holes on it. So it's going to be – Darren Muji's going to have to get creative. They do have a lot of cap space. You don't want to burn all of it. It does carry over into future years. So I'm very curious to see how this I'm sure we're going to have off-season pods before the end of the season very soon. But yeah, it's they have a lot of holes to fill. Obviously more since they traded Sauce and Quinnen. But even if those two guys were still here, like you said, we didn't list off very many guys that you can say are no doubt starters on a playoff team. So I have a lot of concerns about the future of this defense, and honestly, the person calling the plays on defense, I have some concerns about.
I agree with Steve Wilkes. I think there's a reason he's pretty much been one and done in a lot of other places, and that is a name to keep an eye on. I think when the season ends, that's one to watch because if the Jets are going to make changes and Woody's going to demand changes, I don't think it's going to be Tanner Engstrand. I think it could be Steve Wilkes, where they step in and say we want a new voice on defense, and I wouldn't disagree with it at all. Zach, the comment section is absolutely blown up. I know we were just talking about defense, but there's a lot of questions right now about the potential veteran options for the Jets at the quarterback position after this year. So I want to run through a few of these and just get your thought process on the Jets getting these guys, basically pairing this guy with a rookie. So it'd be a rookie quarterback plus this guy, and I want to see what your thought process is. The first one, Kyler Murray. Do you like that idea?
No. I mean, the only way I'd be okay with Kyler Murray is if he was cut and then you sign him for cheap on like a 1-year prove-it deal, but I just don't think that would work. I don't think he's cut out for New York. So
completely agree. Plus, if you, like, the major concern with Kyler Murray is, one, how much does he actually love football, and two, how much work does he put in to be good at football? That he has all the talent in the world. I know he's a shorter guy, but he has all the talent in the world to be an elite level player. The work ethic is an issue. And Aaron Glenn is somebody that just preaches the right guy, the right mindset, all that. I just don't think Kyler Murray is an Aaron Glenn player whatsoever, so I would be surprised if they went that route. This is an interesting one, Gardner Minshew. I like that name. I think it'd be fun to cover too.
Yeah, it's like, I guess that he'd be good backup / competition. I guess it became pretty clear eventually that he's not like a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he's perfectly fine. He can complete passes. He'll take shots. Yeah, I'd like that the more we're talking about it, honestly.
I'm with you. Joe Flacco. I love Joe. Joe comes back again. This would be his fourth. So he came here once, then left to go to the Eagles. Then they came back to the Jets.
No, it would just be his third. It would just be his third time.
Just be the third? Okay, that was the only time he was there. I actually like that a lot. I think he's a great dude. I think he's really highly regarded. I love that.
I mean, Joe Flacco is a great media guy. He's from a part of South Jersey that I'm from, and so he sounds like people that I know. And so every time I hear him talking at press conferences.
Where's your brother? The Legacy, the old Woodcrest.
Woodcrest
Country
yeah.
Club, Legacy Country Club. That's where Flacco was a big player there. Played there a lot.
Yeah, I'd say no on that one probably, and I think Woody was kind of against bringing him back in the past because he didn't like his record when he was here. So
yeah, but Woody will forget about that. He'll see what he did now, throwing for like 500 yards every single week with the Bengals and want him back. So that's that. I wouldn't do that as a big thing. This one I've seen floated around all the time. I know Jake Asman was banging this drum and all that stuff. I can't see it happening in any world. Joe Burrow to the Jets. Like this would be, you're forgetting about the draft and going like the Cincinnati Bengals just paid his receivers like, isn't it like $250 million? Didn't they just give those two guys like insane money to two receivers? Now they're just going to trade away Joe Burrow. Like they keep Chase and they keep Higgins, two guys who probably only resigned with the Bengals because of Burrow. And now you're going to trade away Burrow. It makes no sense to me. No sense whatsoever that the Bengals would even entertain that.
I mean, it would be number one, the Bengals just deciding they're going to blow it up, and it would be number two, Joe Burrow demanding a trade. I think would be the only way I could see like it even being a possibility. But I mean, if he was available, he's he honestly is the kind of guy the Jets go and get, and then he gets hurt again. But like he's a star. He like at New York, like he's like made for like being a celebrity. I feel like so it would be fun to cover him, but I don't see it. Like that's like a fun like dream about it scenario. I don't see that happening.
Two quick ones here. I actually like both of these suggestions as well. Mac Jones and Marcus Mariota. I like them both. I think Mac Jones would work very well within this Tanner Engstrand offense, assuming it's very similar, or he wants to run it very similar to what the Lions run. And Mariota's been a decent player backing up Jaden Daniels, and then having to fill in there when he's had to fill in. He can win a game for you. He's not going to win 10 games for you, but if you have him start 3 games, I think he's going 2-1, or he can go 2-1 with good pieces around him. If he has to start 6, he's probably going 3-3, so he can keep you afloat. Certainly not going to be a liability, so I like those two options as well as bridge quarterbacks.
I would say Mac Jones actually signed a 2-year deal, I believe, with the Niners, so he's making like no money next year. So they would have to trade for him because I don't think the Niners are just going to give him up, which does complicate that a little bit because he all of a sudden looks like a pretty good quarterback, Mac. Mariota honestly feels like the ideal one because he has some mobility to him. Aaron Glenn does want some mobility in his quarterbacks, veteran, smart, great locker room guy by all accounts. Everybody loves Marcus Mariota, so I think he'd be if you're saying we're drafting someone in the first round, I'd put Mariota pretty high on my list.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're pretty in lockstep there. Anything else you want to say before we move on to a Week 12 preview here, Zach, on the Patriots game? I liked the article you wrote about the Patriots made the rebuild look easy. It helps to have the quarterback. Do you think the Jets can make the rebuild look as easy as well? I actually, to be completely transparent with you here, dude, like looking at what the Patriots went to from 2024 to where they are now in 2025, I don't see the Jets parallels. I actually see a lot of parallels to the Giants, if I'm being completely and totally honest with you, because you have a nucleus that's there of young talent. For the Giants, you see
Gotta
the
get the right
young
coach.
pass rushing defensive line. You see the number one wide receiver, which actually the Patriots didn't have, but the Giants do in Malik Neighbors. You like the running back rotation of Cam Scatterbo and Tyrone Tracy. You have an offensive line that can absolutely be infused with talent, but there's a functioning average to above average on their best days offensive line there, and you have a young quarterback that has shown a ridiculous amount of promise. It fell apart for the Patriots last year when they went 4-13. It's falling apart for the Giants right now at 2-8. But you believe that if you get the coach, everything else will fall into place. You get the coach, you round out the roster with another stellar draft and additional free agent signings to complete that nucleus and round out depth, and you can see the jump where the Patriots go from 4-13 to 9-2. The Giants with Dart and Neighbors and all those pieces I just saw, if you can get the right coach, like the Patriots found Mike Vrabel, if the Giants can find their version of Vrabel to replace Brian Dable, can't believe I said that without getting my tongue twisted, I can see the Giants making the same jump. The Jets, there's a lot more pieces that they need to find. They have to fix that defense with a ton. They have to get their quarterback, which is a major part of this equation. And then you have to hope that Aaron Glenn can be as successful as Vrabel's been in this year.
Yeah, it's not really comparable. But, I will say, the Drake Maye was the third quarterback taken in that draft. Like, the Jets have fallen in like the second or third quarterback range pretty often and just have not been able to get somebody of his caliber. I mean, I guess you could say Sam Darnold is maybe of that caliber and he just didn't work out here. But, you hope they get a little luck. It doesn't sound like this quarterback class. The more you read and hear about it, it sounds like it's going to be a 2 quarterback class. And there's quite a bit of teams in the top 10 that need a quarterback. So, the Jets kind of need to stay ideally in the top 5, if not the top 3. If you're top 5, you might have to move up a little. So, you really hope you fall in love with both Mendoza and Simpson, who seems like are going to be the 2 guys. And if you don't love those guys and you aren't able to get them, I don't really know what the backup plan is. I guess you kick the bucket to 2027, but that, I don't know about that plan.
So risky,
I've
man.
seen that floated. Risky. I mean, what I could see in that scenario, I guess, and not to get too in the weeds, we'll probably cover this at some point. Like maybe you draft a quarterback, whether it's late first, second round, fourth round, whatever, a guy you throw a dart at somebody like a Dylan Gabriel in Cleveland who doesn't look good, but they threw a dart, and then you go back the next year and draft someone if that guy's no good, I guess. It's not the most exciting plan, but that would, we're going to have to consider these fallback plans as we start projecting the offseason because there's no guarantee it's all going to go according to plan. So,
100%. Moving on here now, Zach, to next week. It's actually funny. Sam put the outline together for this rundown, and she said, it's like, here's the early spread. So I think the book opened between the Jets and the Ravens at 10.5. I just checked DraftKings. It's up to 14.5. It's the spread for Jets-Ravens. So not a lot of confidence. It's I don't know when Sam got the original 10.5 point spread. But it's now up to 14.5. Like, so it's up there. So
yikes.
I kind of like that there, man. I don't know how this defense is stopping
That's
Lamar.
pretty
Could
big.
see them calling off. Yeah, I mean, I could see the Jets, like the Ravens being up like 21 points or something like that in the fourth and calling off the dogs. The backups come in and then the Jets put up some points. I do like the spread closer to probably 11 or 12 if Tyrod Taylor's playing compared to 14.5. But that's a really good Ravens defense. I don't see any world where the Jets win that game, especially because the Ravens are playing for something. So I probably, again, this is super, super early. We don't even know if Lamar is playing this week, let alone next week. But I probably lean a little bit here towards still taking the Ravens. I'm sorry, whatever the spread is, I'm still going to take the Ravens. I'm not taking the Jets.
You know what? I'm going to
14.5 is my line. If it goes over 14.5, I think I'm probably going to have to take the Jets.
I'll throw a twist. I'll go opposite of you just so we have some intrigue here. I'll say the Jets cover 14.5. Maybe they lose by 14. So that way you're losing by 2 touchdowns still. But yeah, it's I mean the Ravens are pretty highly motivated right now, so it's not like they had a weird year. The Steelers look like they're on the downswing. All of a sudden, the Ravens are like really need a win, and that's why it's been crazy. I never seen anything like it. They were what were they like 1-5 or whatever their record was to start, the 1-4, and they were the favorites to win the division like to the midway point, even with this losing record. It's like they knew Lamar was coming back. I've never seen that before, where you have like that
Weak
bad of a
schedule,
losing
too.
record.
Their schedule is real weak, like
Still,
second half of the year.
and I mean, I think Vegas clearly didn't believe in the Steelers because, like, the Steelers were like 5-1 or 5-2 or whatever it was, and they were still like not favorites for a minute there. So I mean, they're motivated in Baltimore. Lamar is very motivated right now. It could be ugly, but we'll see.
Real quick, I did put together here NFL draft watch for the Jets because I think what was Tank that happened? They're picking 2, right? I think they're picking 2 if the NFL draft were held today. Am I right on that?
I believe.
I'll open it up real quick.
Yeah, go double check that.
3. All right, Sam just popped in my ear. So they're picking 3 if the NFL draft were held today. There we go, right up on the screen. Heck yeah, Sam.
That graphic.
Shout out Sam Candle, coming in big here with this.
Superstar.
That is the current schedule. If you guys are looking for a tank watch for the Jets, the Tennessee Titans there are going to play the Houston Texans with no C.J. Stroud this week. The Saints are playing the Atlanta Falcons. The Giants are playing the Packers. The Browns are playing the Ravens. And the Raiders are playing the Cowboys. Looking at that one, the Titans are probably the best chance to get a win because there's no C.J. Stroud, and you figure Davis Mills, I know he looked good against the Jaguars, but he's probably going to come back down to earth. Other than that, I probably think the Falcons, Packers, Ravens, and Cowboys run away with that one, although the Cowboys versus the Raiders can be a little funky, and Geno Smith is still a solid quarterback. If you're looking for the college quarterback watch streak, Mendoza is playing Wisconsin at 12 p.m. on Saturday. Oregon and Dante Moore playing Minnesota. I know Moore. I think it's out there right now. He's going back to school, right? I think he's supposed to get like a boatload of money.
I think Tom McShay reported that maybe, or So I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I threw him on here anyway because we know that Arch isn't coming out.
Yeah.
The other one, which is actually the game of the week here, I think, is Ty Simpson in Alabama versus number 11 Oklahoma at 3:30. So if you Jet fans are wanting to watch a little bit of the quarterbacks that could be leading the Jets next year, Mendona versus you can actually go all of them. You can watch Mendona versus Wisconsin at 12, then flip over to Simpson versus Oklahoma at 3:30, and then cap your night with Moore against Minnesota at 9 p.m. Are you going to watch any of those games, Zach?
I haven't reached the stage of college film watching. I
just mean like turn it on, like college football. I'm not saying crank the film.
It's my way of distracting from the fact that I'm probably not going to watch it, if I'm being honest. But I mean, if I'm not playing with and hanging with my family, I'm trying to like unplug this weekend is my goal. So we'll see.
I'm with you. One of my good buddy Joe Lacalandra, I went to Monmouth University with, diehard Jet fan. He is my Jet encyclopedia. So when I need to know something about Jet history, I text NYJ Matt and NYJ Mike, and then I text Joe Lacalandra. And those are the 3 people that help me with Jet history and all that stuff. I actually think I'm getting together with him tomorrow. His daughters, Madison and Olivia, are close to Brooke. Brooke loves, especially Olivia. Brooke loves playing with Olivia. So I think we're going to do a dad date day now that I actually have a Saturday off for the first time in a while, and I am not traveling. Right. Oh, I like this one. Here's a comment from Brian Brewster. Connor is Mad Dog. Zach is Mike. Do you like that? I kind of think that's pretty accurate.
I'm Francesa. Wow.
Maybe I like that. You look like him.
Oh, God. I don't know if I like that, actually.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Let's go. We're going to end it on that note. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Jets Final Drive. I keep forgetting that this is Friday. So if you want more of us, I think we're going to are we doing a show on Monday? Maybe we are. I don't know. I'm going to talk to our producers to see if we're doing a Jets Final Drive preview episode, I guess, or additional content, depending on what happens this weekend on Monday. If not, you can get more of me on Jets Mailbag. That is going to be coming next week with Janae Coakley. So start firing away your questions now to me, to Janae, SMY, Jets videos. You can send them all there. We'll compile them and then ask them. That show has been actually doing pretty well, and it's a lot of fun hopping on there with Janae. If you want more of Zack, you can listen to him on Flight Plan, part of the Badlands Network with Tim McMaster, the absolute best. We say this all the time. The best place to watch us is YouTube. The best thing you should do once you find us on YouTube is subscribe to SNY's digital channel, because what are you going to get? You're going to get the Put Back with Ian Begley to talk about the Knicks. You're going to get Jets pregame and postgame. You're going to get clips from Honda Sports Night, all of that fun stuff. So we will see you over there. For Zack Rosenblatt, I am Connor Hughes, and a huge thank you to our production team of Brian Pincus, Sam Candle, Corey Palmer, and executive producer Jeff Goldman. We will see you guys next week.